In this video, I'm going to show you how to make drum and bass like ROVA.
Need your eyes on me, me. Need your eyes on me.
Now we're going to be using sounds from my Rollers DNB pack, and I've also got a Jump Up DNB pack available. There's a link down below if you want to get them. We're going to start with the drums, then we're going to look at the basses, then the vocals, and then a couple of effects. Let's start with the drums. So we're going to start with kick 05 from the Rollers pack, and we're just going to put this in kick slot 1. Now if you're wondering why my FL Studio looks like this, it's because I'm using a project template that I've created. That's available in the add-on section of my website if you haven't got that yet. And then we're just going to drag this across so it goes on every single bar. We'll do the first 4 bars first, and then we're going to drag all of these across to the middle and then move them over halfway across the 3rd bar like that. So we get this pattern. Now there's not much high end in this kick, so what I've done is grabbed kick 4 here, and then in the post-processing channel what I can do is come here, add an EQ2, and then right click, type high pass, and then just drag this up all the way to around about 1900 hertz, and then we're just using the high end of this kick, so now it sounds like this. And then we can layer this underneath the first kick drum just to give it more transient. So before, after. Now we want a really aggressive clap. So what I'm going to do is layer 2 claps. So I've found clap 12. I'm just going to put this on the start of the 2nd and 4th bars and then just copy that across like this. And then we're going to grab clap 10. Sounds like this. We're just going to reduce the overall length of it. So let's go here, go to about 59%. You can see that in the top left corner here. So it sounds like that. And then we're just going to drag this in and match it up to the other clap. So we get something that sounds like this. Now normally I mix really quiet, but there are multiple ways of mixing. So I feel like doing something different for this video. I'm going to mix louder than usual just to see how it sounds. There's no real right way of mixing as long as it sounds good in the end. So let's just experiment a bit. So I'm just going to make sure this is in mono down here by turning this purple thing all the way around. And then we're just going to turn this clap down just so it's slightly quieter than the kick drum. And then on the master channel here, just because it's already going to be clipping a little bit, I'm putting a limiter on the master. And then on a drum bus as well, I'm putting a Saturn just on 20% drive and a Pro L as well on 1.4. Just boosting some of the frequencies there. Now let's add some hi-hats. So these drums are insanely simple. We're going to grab hi-hat 2. And we're literally just going to put this in the hi-hat slot. I'm literally going to drop this in every single beat like that. And then we're just going to copy these across like this. And if you want to add even more groove, what you could do is drag this down at the bottom here just to add a bit more natural feel to them. Like that. Now let's get hat 24. Sounds like this. And we're going to put this in the little gap we've created where we move the kick drum across. I'm just going to remove this hi-hat here like this. And then we're going to put this new hi-hat in that slot there. Just so we don't have any clashing in the hi-hats. So now we get this. And let's just check the mix down. The hi-hats are a nice level compared to the kick and the clap. Now one other thing I want to add is a little bongo. So we're using bongo 1, which sounds like this. Then we're going to turn this down -5 semitones to get it in key. And then we're going to add this EQ like this. And then we're just going to whack this right at the end of the section here. Like that. And then we can simply copy all these drums. And now we've got 8 bars of drums. If you're enjoying the video so far, it would mean a lot if you could just smash that like button. Now let's look at the basses. So there's actually 3 basses. There's the main bass, then there's the main bass supported, which is almost the same, just slightly different post-processing. And then we've got this fat 808 sub bass. So let's look at the main bass first. So I'm going to recreate it for you here so you can follow along. But let's just look at the melody first. It's just a D sharp playing like this. And I'm on step mode. Literally just one note. Crazy. And now let's recreate it. Firstly, what we want to do is come to Spectral here and find Gremlin SN. Then we're going to want to drag the octave down -2. And then we want to move the wavetable position to 82. It needs to be 82. Exactly. Then we're going to come to the warp section and we're going to select bend +/-. And then we want to move this to exactly 24%. And then we should get something that sounds like this. Next, we want to come to the filter section, turn it on, come to MISC, and then select Formant 1. We want to change the cutoff to 1760, like that. Change the res to 13%. Change the drive to 47%. And change the formant to 38%. So now we have this. So you can see the sound is starting to be created. Now we need to shape it with the LFO. So we can turn this level all the way down. And we want to grab LFO 1 and drag it on it. And then we want to come down here and select envelope, 1/4 rate, which is already on. And then we want to create the shape, which looks something like this. And then we should get this. We have the start of the sound there. Now we want to come to post-processing. We want to turn hyper on, distortion on, and compression. For the hyper, we're just going to turn the mix down to around about 1/4, 17, 18. For the distortion, we're going to pick stomp box. And we're going to turn the drive up to around about 70%. And then for the compression, we're going to turn multiband on. And we're going to turn the gain up to around about 11-ish. And then we get this sound. Now guys, I think I've got a sponsor for this video. Oh wait, the sponsor is myself. And some of you may have noticed that recently I've opened up a music production academy. And it's basically a place where if you're struggling with your music production and you want to take it up a step, then this is the place to be. My production academy currently has over 15 hours worth of courses, all made by me, and you can follow them along step by step. And it basically covers everything about music production and how to make bangers. So if you want to join the Music Production Academy, there's a link down below to that, and I'll see you inside. Now we need to add some post-processing just to bring the sounds out even more. So firstly, what I've done is I've connected this here to another channel, which is my reverb channel, and it's just on 57%. We've got a reverb on it, just a fruity reverb, and an EQ cutting out any lows. And that sounds like this. Let me just reset the control on this because I turned it up earlier. Now next what I've done is I've added some post-processing. So I've added some Valhalla Room on the lowest decay setting here and quite a low mix just to give it even more width. Then I've added a Saturn 2 on the 456 demo setting, which is in color here. So we just get this. Now I've come to the EQ and I've taken out the lows below 166, and this is because we're going to add that 808 bass in next. Then what I've done is I've added some sidechain to the drums and a Pro Q just to stop any clipping. Now if we play this with the drums, you'll hear how it sounds. So now let's add in that second bass here, which is just the same bass, slightly varied. So we've just added another oscillator here, Monster 2. And then we've just changed the LFO shape slightly, added the LFO onto the level of the second oscillator, oscillator B, and that's about it. And then we've added it to another channel, which is here, and added a Camel Crusher, an EQ, and a Pro MB, just slightly changing up the sound, just so it doesn't sound exactly the same. And then if we come to it here, we can hear this. And there you go. So now let's look at adding the 808 subby bass in. So the pattern for this looks like this. And we're going to find this in the rollers pack, and it's the 808 called Smooth. And then all I did, I think, is I increased the sustain slightly here. So this looks like this. There's actually no post-processing on it. And then if we come to post-processing channel, we've got a Waves R-Bass mono on it, a Camel Crusher on British Clean, and then an EQ taking out any of the mids to highs. So it's on 252, and this is on low pass this time. So if we play this on its own, it sounds like this. And then if we add the bass in, add in the drums, now the bass is coming a little bit louder than drums, so we can fix that a bit later on with the mix down. And that is the bass is complete. Now let me briefly show you these vocals. So I actually found them on Splice. I just typed in Eyes on Me, and it came up, it was like the third one down. And the original vocal just sounds like this.
I need your eyes on me.
And what I've done is I've turned it down -5 semitones here, adjusted it to 176 BPM, and then changed the vocals around to get the same thing it's saying in ROVA's track. And then the me, I've just chopped and put on every single beat like this. So the me sounds like this.
Me.
And then the vocal sounds like this.
Need your eyes on me.
And that's all on one channel with a Clar vocals on the Start Me Up setting. A reverb that slowly comes in as the pre-drop builds up.
Need your eyes on me.
And then an EQ just boosting some of the highs, and a Pro L stopping any clipping since we're mixing loud. And then what I've done in the drop is I've put the me on a new channel here, shortened it down, and then just put loads of reverb on it, an EQ on it, and then that just makes it more in the background so it's not shouting over the basses. So I'll play it to you just on its own so you can hear it.
Need your eyes on me. Need your eyes on me.
And then if we play this with the rest of the instruments.
Need your eyes on me. Need your eyes on me.
And then finally we've got a couple of effects. So you want to sprinkle these one-shot effects in throughout your tracks as well. And we've just got one with the drums. So it's kind of like a gunshot sound mixed with like a whoosh sound. And it sounds like this. And it's literally just at the end of the drum section. So if I played it with the drums, you'd hear it just adds like a little transition effects. Sounds pretty cool to me. So for this, I've just used the Rollers FX 9, shortened it down, which is like a little gunshot sound. And then I've used Rollers FX 2 and shortened that down as well. And put it at the end of the second bar of the drums. And then we could even repeat it every 4 bars like this. Like that. So that's everything done. Let's listen to the final product.
Need your eyes on me. Need your eyes on me. Need your eyes on me.
That is the track complete. Shout out to Hafrichi. Sorry if I butchered that pronunciation for the video suggestion. So if you do have any suggestions, just leave them down below. Obviously, I'm not able to recreate every track that gets suggested, but normally the ones I go for are the popular ones at the moment, because then these videos get more reach. And if I like the tune as well, obviously. I'm not going to do one if I don't like the tune. So yeah, feel free to leave them below and I'll take a listen. And then if I like them, I'll recreate them for you. I'm pretty happy with how this one turned out. And of course, if you want to get these sample packs, the Rollers DNB one and the Jump Up DNB ones, those ones I recommend for this kind of music, link down below to get them. Thank you all for watching. I'll see you all in the next one.